Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Farzy Show here at the Steven Singer Studios. Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Our friend Tom McGinnis, a phenomenal radio play-by-play announcer for the 76ers, and has done a great job throughout the season filling in for Kate Scott whenever he's had the opportunity to do so. The man's just incredibly talented. I absolutely love him. But there's a phrase that he often says that was repeating in my brain last night while the 76ers were, well, they were, I guess technically they were playing because they physically showed up and they were there physically in the literal sense. But everything else, I was watching them kind of go through the motions of this basketball game, this pivotal game 5. Like, lose and you're done now. That's how it works for those not doing the math. Lose and you're done. Lose tomorrow night in South Philly and the season is over. And I'm watching that wildly piss-poor performance from our 76ers last night. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking of the great Tom McGinnis and the very famous, "Are you kidding me?" I could not believe what I was seeing. And everybody looked terrible. Like, Joel Embiid he just had spurts of greatness last night. And I'm not expecting him to really carry the team because I don't think he's anything close to 100%. I don't even think he's 80% right now with the way he's playing this game. And I'm watching him play. He didn't look great. But I'm going to go ahead and, aside from Sixers Twitter, I'm going to push that aside and say, you know what? Maybe the guy with the broken face, maybe your best player, doesn't deserve all the criticism in the world right now. Instead, and this is really what I can't get over at all, Joel Embiid feels like this team can win a championship. So he decides to come back quickly from a concussion, play with a fractured orbital bone, torn ligament in his thumb, and this is just the playoffs, by the way. In the regular season, he carried this team to contention. Through all the Ben Simmons drama, you could lean on the pillar that was Joel Embiid. And how does this basketball team repay that type of dedication and effort? How do they do it? How do they repay that? By mailing in a performance in Game 5 last night in Miami. After Joel Embiid got bopped in the face with the basketball, no ill intent here. I don't think that I thought Doc Rivers was freaking out about it. I have no idea. The ball hit him in the face. It was an aggressive play. I didn't think it was dirty. I didn't have any problem with what went down on that play with about 6:19 left in the second quarter. But I'm watching that, and I'm thinking, all right, you know what? Maybe this will be the moment. In my most optimistic point of view, because the Sixers were down, I believe it was 9, and then they quickly went down 11 because on that turnover, which is what the play resulted in, they ended up getting 2 points, and the Sixers ended up being down 11. But I'm thinking, all right, Joel Embiid, regardless of what hit him in the face, he just got hit in the face. Let's go back to this for a second. The broken face of Joel Embiid. And the Sixers, I thought, all right, maybe this will be the rallying point. All right, hey, look, this guy's fighting for us. He comes back in this series. He totally transforms us in games 3 and 4. Now we're down here. Let's pick our guy up. Let's literally pick him up and then figuratively pick him up in this game. Let's have his back. Because if he can't do it because he's maybe, what did I say, 75, 80%? That's being generous as well. Maybe this guy's at 65%. We know he's not 100. So let's pick him up. Figuratively and literally. Did the Sixers do that? No, they did not. They continued to mail in a performance from that point on in the game. There was nothing the Sixers team did last night. They made me go, this is the team that we saw in South Philly for games 3 and 4. There was nothing, and there was nothing from jump. I was hoping that that moment with Joel Embiid would kind of rally the troops, as they say. Flat. The entire time, flat. I don't know if there was a lack of oxygen in Miami. Everyone says that every away team parties in Miami too much, and they come out flat. Well, that's what they look like in this particular game. And here's the thing. They shot better in this game than they did in the 2 previous games in Miami. You know what the difference was? Hustle, heart, dedication to their craft in this game. I saw Tyrese Maxey, who you guys know I've voiced my love. I've shouted it from the rooftops. But how he doesn't challenge Jimmy Butler at all at that fast break in the second quarter is beyond me. Like, literally just stopped running. Like, at least run past the guy. I understand you don't want to foul in that situation. Everything's already going wrong for you. But at least do something to challenge the shot. Like, as fast as Tyrese Maxey is, Jimmy Butler is still pretty quick, still pretty fast. But you mean to tell me that Tyrese Maxey couldn't challenge at all on that particular play? There was another play where Tyrese Maxey's running the floor and Joel Embiid decided to keep it. Instead of what was a 2-on-1 break, Joel Embiid decides to keep it, not dishes to Maxey, who can run past anybody if he wants to, apparently. And then they weren't able to get points on that possession. There were just things done throughout this game that made me think they don't have it. And either Doc Rivers is going to beat it into them, or Joel Embiid's going to do something to get this quarter, put the quarter in the machine and get the Sixers team to give a damn about this fifth game. And that's what would change. Nothing did. No point. There was a spurt in the third quarter because after Joel Embiid got hit, there was a point where I just thought he was taking himself out of the game for a minute. And there was, there was the 6-12 mark in the second quarter that happened. He missed his next two shots. He had one turnover, and that was the turnover. And then he didn't hit a shot until the 11:39 mark in the third quarter. So they go into halftime. He comes out, starts the third quarter, hits a jumper, and then you don't get anything from him until about the final 4 minutes, I want to say, of that third quarter. And that's when he started to get the ball rolling. He had about 4 or 6 straight points for the Sixers. Was not afraid of contact, was playing down low. They couldn't get the ball to him down there throughout the game. They had some success doing that in games 3 and 4 when he wasn't just creating on his own. They had success against the Toronto Raptors, who were also trying to front him in that series, and they kept on just lofting it over their heads to Embiid on the block, dunk, 2 points, so you're good. You try doing it in this series, again, it's particularly last night, and you weren't able to have success doing that. There were times where you had Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo fronting him, and they were denying the basketball to him, so they couldn't really do anything as far as getting Joel Embiid going. And if he's not even close to 100%, he's not going to be the normal dominant self that we've come to know and love when it comes to Joel Embiid. So they couldn't, that wasn't working for him. James Harden, where are you at? You going to step up? No, not in this game. We just had the one little run at the end of the fourth quarter of Game 4, and that was it. All right, let's see how they do when they come home. Tyrese Maxey had nothing. He had nothing last night. Tobias Harris had nothing last night. George Niang, Danny Green. This team, there was nobody you could turn to last night to say these guys are going to get it going. And the only point where I thought maybe this is it, the turnaround they needed, was when Joel Embiid went down and was grabbing his face. I thought that right there might be the moment where they say, this guy has fought his ass off for us all season long. This guy has come back for us in the playoffs with a broken face because he believes in us. And at no point there was no jolt of energy. We'll hear in our Rothman Orthopedics postgame report from Tobias Harris, from Joel Embiid, from Doc Rivers, about how there was just no life. How is there no life in a Game 5 of an Eastern Conference semifinals? We know as a fan base going into it, if you win that game, you got an 84% chance, according to history, that you're going to win that series. And now the Sixers got to be part of the 26% that have somehow magically found a way to come back and win a series after going down 3-2 after losing a pivotal Game 5, even at 2 apiece. Hey, look, I want to say that the home cooking will help the Sixers in Game 6 and will all but, not just help them, but all but guarantee that they go back to Miami. But how do you not get up for a Game 5? How do you get blown out in the way that you did in Game 5 and then all of a sudden flip a switch and you can play great? How do you top that team? Like the Miami Heat, who just has your number. Because even if you go back to a Game 7, all bets are off then. Now that is a different ballgame. Yeah, okay, let's hope for that too. Let's first off hope that there's a Game 7. But first, before that happens, Game 6, a much better 76ers squad has to show up. And how about one that just gives a damn? Because I don't understand, to a man, people come out after this game and say, we didn't have any energy, they beat us to everything. How do you know that's going on? As professional athletes, how do you know that's going on throughout the entire game? And then afterwards, you're like, well, their energy is just higher than us, and that was it. What are you doing then to try to get things going? You heard Doc during one of the timeouts kind of lean into his team, talking about, how they had to match that energy. They had to get it going. They got to make the hustle plays on their own. They have to make their own hustle plays. The Heat are doing it every single possession. They wanted it more. Whatever. This isn't the first time this has happened with this team, and that's what's so damn off-putting. You have all the confidence in the world after games 3 and 4. Joel Embiid gets snubbed. And all that. And I said yesterday, I know a lot of people were talking about Joel Embiid going off for a 50-point game because he's going to be pissed about getting snubbed for the MVP award. And regardless if you think he got snubbed or not, the team thinks he got snubbed. And still, you can't take up and have your man's back after a snubbing. Yeah. But I was never one to go, oh, he's going to drop 50. I had some fun with it on social media. But for me, I just didn't. First off, I didn't want him going for 50. I didn't want him thinking about the MVP award. If it would give him a little extra added motivation, sure. Athletes are always looking for that extra little edge, right? If it was going to help him with his motivation, yeah, sure, use that. Fine. But I don't need you to try to drop 50 because I don't think you can drop 50 in this series, especially not on the road against the Miami Heat, especially when nobody else around you is kicking into the next gear either. So for me, I'm watching Joel Embiid, and I'm thinking, maybe don't go for 50 because I don't think you can go for 50. Because I don't think you're going to get close to 100%. Joel Embiid's 100%. Needs to be 100% and pissed off to try to get 50. Those two things weren't coming together last night. So I'm watching this, I'm thinking, I don't need him to do that because then he might overexert himself, and then he might be further away from 100% in Game 6 and Game 7. I needed somebody else to take over. I needed James Harden to be the guy that he was at the end of that game in Game 4. And even as I told you guys yesterday, I don't think James Harden is capable of doing it again. Not this soon. We referenced earlier the 13 games in between 25-point performances in the playoffs for James Harden. You think he was going to turn around and have another one right away? Hey, let's hope at least Game 6 he might do that. But certainly didn't look like it was going to happen in Miami. I saw a former producer of mine. I did a couple of shows down in Miami. WQAM was the radio station some years ago. So, excuse me. Saw one of my former producers say that they're going to have James Harden at the strip club by midnight. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. I don't know what you do with this team from this point on. If you're Doc Rivers, I don't know. I saw at one point, excuse me, and I actually didn't mind this move. Bold strategy. I didn't mind it. But in the second quarter, Doc Rivers decided to put Joel Embiid on the floor with Paul Reed. And Eric Spoelstra called a timeout almost immediately. And my reaction to that, as I put out on Twitter, I said, oh, that's bold. That didn't mean I was against it. At that point, nothing was going for you. And I give credit to Doc Rivers for this. He recognized it. He wasn't just sitting there waiting for something to happen. Oh, no. He had to make something happen. Paul Reed, Joel Embiid, get in the game. Let's see what you do. And they actually had a good possession out of it. And the Eric Spoelstra was like, yep, don't like this, timeout. Anything you could have done to try to change the tides of that game, by all means, try it. And that's what Doc Rivers said. You have to exhaust everything. And that's what I felt like he did last night. I do find it interesting, though, that DeAndre Jordan is either a starter or he doesn't play. That's a very rare breed in basketball. I only bring that up to say that we were right. Doc was wrong about games 1 and 2. Anyway, here's what I want to know. If you're confident that Game 6 is a win. Like, I don't have a huge amount of confidence. Here's my confidence. At home, they play a lot different. At home, they shoot 48% from 3, not 30. So I'm a little bit more confident with them playing at home, but I ain't brimming, man. I ain't brimming with confidence because that was last night a horrific, piss-poor performance from your 10-9-8 76ers. And I just will not be able to get over the idea that Joel Embiid has done everything possible throughout an entire regular season in the playoffs, comes back shortly after the concussion, the broken face, the torn ligament in his thumb, and all this, has confidence that this team can win a championship, gets snubbed for the MVP, and the team's looking at him in Miami going, this is all we got, Joe. Sorry. Like, I shouldn't let it. I'm a grown man. I shouldn't let losses. Like, I'm literally staying up last night because I'm pissed. I didn't want to talk about a loss. I didn't want to be angry. I didn't want to be angry. I wanted to be happy. And I can't be happy because the Sixers robbed me of my happiness. And I'm like literally just like laying in bed, scrolling on my phone, and I'm angrily scrolling. Scrolling my phone. For the people on the podcast, I just did a phenomenal pantomime of a man scrolling on his phone. Anyway, hey, while we're speaking about being pissed off, did you watch the Phillies at all last night? One of the things I like about a West Coast trip, and the Sixers also playing at like a 7:30 start time, is you can just flip right back and you can either flip back and forth late in the game, or you can just turn the game on right after you're done with the Sixers. There was a play in the second inning. Now, the Phillies had 4 errors last night. This was one of them. Allegedly, it shouldn't have been, but it was one of them. Phillies lost last night 5-4 to the Seattle Mariners. They play the rubber game of the 3-game set today. 3:40 start time, mind you. But second inning of last night's ball game. There's a ground ball hit to first base, or hit the second base. Gene Segura makes a nice defensive play on the ball. I think he dove to his right, smothered the ball, picked it up, fired to first. A little bit of an errant throw, but he's on his knees making the throw, so I thought it was a good defensive play. Rhys Hoskins extends properly off the bag, makes the catch, runners out at first. Originally. Then Seattle, the runner there, Frazier was it? He runs into the glove of Rhys Hoskins, causing Rhys Hoskins to drop the baseball. Now, I didn't see this play live. I had to go back. But when I heard about the collision at first base, he knocked the ball out of Rhys Hoskins' hands. The first person I thought of was A-Rod. If you remember in the World Series, he tried to swipe the ball out of the guy's hand. You can't do that. That's illegal. Now, this was a little bit more of how do I say, not innocent. I believe there was intent, but there wasn't the vicious act of like swiping away at the baseball to try to knock it out of Rhys Hoskins' glove. Literally, he ran his hips into Rhys Hoskins' glove. The runner is supposed to avoid contact at that point because the contact happened past the bag as well, just for note. If you haven't seen it, it's out on social media. You can see it. But the interesting thing is they then change the ruling on the field. The umpire changes it immediately because Rhys Hoskins drops the ball from out at first base to safe. Joe Girardi comes fee-fi-fo fumbling out of the dugout, pissed as all hell. They can't review the play by rule in baseball. It's just chalked up as an error by Rhys Hoskins for dropping the ball from Gene Segura. How in baseball is a contact play not reviewable? How does that make any sense? These are the rules of the game. The umpires enforced it, ended up running Joe Girardi out, so he gets ejected. I was dumbfounded. By rule, you're supposed to avoid contact as the runner. And again, because it was past the bag. He did not err to Rhys Hoskins, and that's the way they decided to go with it. Another run ended up scoring in the inning, and the Phillies go on to lose. Nick Castellanos, Rhys Hoskins, and Gene Segura all hit home runs for the Phillies last night. I don't get how that's a non-reviewable play in Major League Baseball, especially when there's contact after the runner crosses first base, and then the ball's dropped by the first baseman. I thought it was egregious, absolutely egregious. And if there is everything, like you could say, a fielder is losing the ball on a transfer, for instance. Oh, the out at second base is still good, but the throw to first on a double play ball, he dropped it on the transfer. Something like that. Or an outfielder trying to throw the ball in after fielding a pop fly or a fly ball, whatever. No, that's on the transfer, so the caught ball in the air still stands as the out. Okay, so this guy got ran into. And you can't say that it was after the catch was already made. Baseball's a funny game. Baseball's a funny game, as they say. Redamn-diculous. Let's get into our Roth Orthopedics locker room report because I need you guys to. I got to go back to the Sixers. There's just too much more to vent, and it's confusion. We got, like I said, Joel Embiid. We got Doc Rivers. We got Tobias Harris on last night's loss. But first, before we do that, let me tell you about Destination Retirement and my man Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC and a partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. And maybe next year, the Flyers, who, how about this, have the 5th overall pick in this upcoming draft. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up your current enjoyment of your income? Why are you doing that, people? You don't got to do that. The answer is to have income streams in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective to just get to the top of the mountain? No. You got to get to the top and then safely back down the mountain. Going up the mountain is your accumulation phase. Going down the mountain is your distribution phase. That's how it works. These are the two phases of your financial life, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Have you ever thought about how it will affect your retirement? Let Mike Seibert show you an efficient way to help pay for your kids' college education and still retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle and have to start over. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out how your annual retirement savings, how it can help your college savings, and how your annual college savings can help your retirement savings. Mike will set up your own portal in Retirement Analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of financial life. For questions and to set up a meeting with Mike, email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds at 1847financial.com, or you can call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds and play the song. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Got a birthday coming up for someone special in your life? Got an anniversary? Something like that? Coming up, maybe a push present? Fellas, don't miss out on the push present. Go to Steven Singer, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Check out IHateStevenSinger.com. At Steven Singer Jewelers, you know you're going to get one thing. Guaranteed. The perfect price. Every single time. Some people, they got to psych themselves up before they go into a jewelry store. All right, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I got to negotiate a good deal. The guy next to me can't pay less than me, so I got to make sure I know what I'm doing in there. And they go in there and they start haggling and they get ripped off anyway. Steven Singer Jewelers is set at the perfect price. You don't have to worry about it haggling. No, you don't have to worry about the person next to you is paying less than you. If they're getting a better deal, oh, they have a promo code, they have a coupon. No, everybody's got it. It's called the perfect price, and you get it when you walk in the door. No matter who you are at Steven Singer Jewelers, you get the perfect price every single day. And always, by the way, check out IHateStevenSinger.com. See something you like. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. Let's jump into our Rothman Orthopedics locker room report, shall we? Let's hear from the head coach first and foremost about how this team came out last night. Here's Doc Rivers on the Sixers' loss to the Heat in Game 5.
I mean, obviously, they just were so much more engaged, more physical, took us out of stuff. There was a lot of disappointment from all of us tonight.
Coach, after Joel was hit in the second quarter, was there a consideration to keep him out the rest of the game?
No.
Doc, you just mentioned them taking you out of your stuff. Is that just the biggest explanation for, again, just the drastic shooting?
Yeah, well, they were just more physical. We didn't run anything. We didn't run our stuff very well. We played at a snail's pace. I think, what did we have, 85 shots, turned the ball over. They gave up. I mean, everything they did tonight was harder and better. Their stuff was better than what we ran. Their energy was better. Their toughness was better. I haven't said that very often about us, and that's on all of us. That's on me to make sure they're ready, and that's on them to be ready. Tonight we were not.
Was the end of that? That's on me? Did Doc take responsibility for something again? No way. All right, so things are looking up in that regard. So that's good. But how are they more engaged than you are? This is what is so amazing to me. These are professional athletes. I always have to remind myself of that after a game like this. When you are outmatched, when you are out hustled, when on the defensive end of the floor, they could make stops almost at will. And it took what seemed like every ounce of your, mind power to at least attempt to get a shot off. Because the physical effort certainly wasn't there. So it seemed like mentally you're just exhausted. How do I get a bucket here? What do I got to do? And then they're just like steal, miss shot, turnover, out of bounds, whatever, running up in the court. Next thing you know, Jimmy Butler's got himself another layup. How is a team in a game 5 where you can win a game at home in the next game? How is a team that much more into it in a game 5 of a playoff series than you are? Like, if you're missing shots like you were in the first 2 games, like I get it, you're going to miss shots. It happens. The teams go through cold spells. But getting out rebounded, getting beat to loose balls, not being able to fight through screens, like what is it you say you do here, fellas? Is it just going to Miami to party? Here's more of Doc Rivers, and I think people like this suggestion, by the way.
God awful transition defense. Yeah, I want to watch the tape or burn the tape. I'm not sure which one. I'll probably watch it because I have to, and then I'll burn it. But we'll be ready next game. We have to be.
I'm all for burning the tape. Do I have a lighter in my desk? I don't believe I do. Don't worry, I'm not going to set anything on fire. But I'm watching this game and I'm thinking, okay, so this is a burn the tape game. And sure enough, after the game, I hear Doc Rivers say, well, I got to burn it. Well, I'm going to watch it because that's what I got to do. Then I'm going to burn it. As long as it ends with burning it. Hell, I'd show it on the team flight. If they have any one of them chicken wings left over from Tyrese Maxey, guess what? You're going to watch this on the flight. This is how you played in a game 5 of a playoff series. Ultimately, a lot of this, and I know people hate this argument, but I truly believe in this. When your team is not prepared to play, yes, they're professional athletes. Yes, they shouldn't need a high school hairy rah-rah head coach going into the locker room before the game and getting them real revved up. But he should have their mind right. Like, professional athletes shouldn't need that. But let's not forget one of the greatest professional athletes, if not the greatest professional athlete ever, Michael Jordan, found motivation in the weirdest places. A guy once told him, good game. This is one of my favorite takeaways from Last Dance. A guy once told him, good game. And he's like, good game. I'm going to kill that guy. Like, what? Professional athletes shouldn't need that little extra motivation, but guess what they do? Because they're still doing the same thing over and over and over again. You got to spice it up a little bit every once in a while. So maybe Doc Rivers throwing a chair against the wall, flipping over a desk, whatever you've seen in a movie that's way too overdramatic for real life most of the time. Whatever that is, you got to do it. One of the things one of the things Brett Brown said that I really loved was the thing about coaches only have so many bullets. And if you remember in the Jimmy Butler era, for as short-lived as it was, in that series against the Brooklyn Nets, Brett Brown went into the locker room and started firing on all cylinders, calling guys out, yelling at guys, this, that, and the other. They came out second half, totally different team. They came up jazzed up. And Jimmy Butler even referenced it, how it was helpful, how that really got their attention, and it turned the tides of the game. And then the Sixers, of course, ended up winning that series. They were the better team, but still they ended up winning the series. And Brett Brown was asked about it the next day at shoot-around, and he said, look, as a coach, you only have so many bullets. That is a dead-on Brett Brown impression. As a coach, you only have so many bullets. And that was one he decided to fire. I don't know if it's just Doc Rivers has already worn himself out with this team and the message is lost and there's nothing he can really do to push buttons to make them better anymore. But that's what it seems like. When you can't get your team's mind right going into a game 5, yes, it should be up to the players. Let's get it out of the way. But it isn't always up to the players. In this case, I guess you needed your coach to get something going there, and he couldn't get anything going. On the sidelines during the game, I referenced a timeout before. He seemed like he was really trying to get him motivated by being angry and being that high school hairy guy. Boom. Let me take a sharp left turn here. I'm a big fan of Molly Shannon, right? You guys know I'm a Saturday Night Live fan, and I'm a Saturday Night Live loyalist. Molly Shannon's character, Mary Catherine Gallagher, would always say, like at the end of her sketches, she'd say, I feel that my feelings can best be expressed by some monologue from some Lifetime movie, okay? Some Lifetime original movie. I feel that our feelings can best be expressed by what you're about to hear. And it's, for those watching on YouTube, on Twitter and all that, on Twitch as well, Facebook Live, what's up? For those watching clips later on the show on Instagram, and for those on the podcast, the body language of Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris in their post-game news conferences, they look exactly like how they played. Lethargic. No energy. Joel Embiid, play-wise, I excuse, on account of the broken face. But Tobias Harris, I know his voice is still hurt from getting elbowed in the throat by Bam Adebayo in Game 4. So that might be more of the soft-spokenness. But what he is saying and how he is saying it, I think encapsulates how they played in this Game 5. Here's Tobias Harris after the game.
Our energy wasn't there from the start of the game. I thought that obviously they made a bunch of plays that we really weren't able to kind of go back at. And then, just from the start of it, we kind of deflated us, and we never were able to get right back into it, and then to get that type of rhythm that we wanted during the course of the game. So it's disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing is the way. But if you saw that, if you actually stayed up after the game and watched the post-game press conferences, if you heard it all, if you just saw what I just showed you here on the YouTube channel, does that not look exactly like you would think? Like, that's how the Sixers played that game. Well, I have no real answers for you other than we were terrible, and we had no energy, and everything that we did was terrible. Everything they did was great, and it was mostly because they outmatched us, outmanned us, out-hustled us, outplayed us. Okay, so any other questions? Anybody like my jacket? It was like a NASA jacket that Tobias Harris had on. All right, now let's talk to the man of the hour. Talk about our man of the hour, Joel Embiid. It all comes down to focus. It all comes down to mindset. This was Joe's mindset going into last night's game.
I had the right mindset about, what I wanted to accomplish. And, man, I don't know. I thought, coming in, I had the right mindset. I had the right mindset about, what I wanted to accomplish. And, as far as, myself and the team to try to get the win. And, there's a lot going on. Sometimes, your body and whatever that's going on, as just won't allow you to just, be yourself. In those moments, you just got to keep pushing, hope for the best. But like I said, at this point, it's all about, just being there and, just keep pushing.
We all hope you keep pushing, but does that sound like a guy that still got something left in the tank? It's going to be up to Sixers fans to try to either kick this team in the ass or get him going. Now, here's what I love. That Sixers fan base is going to be there. Game 6, they're going to be loud, and they're going to get that building rocking. It's up to the Sixers to keep it that way. Because if they don't, mass hysteria. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That's what it's going to be like in South Philadelphia tomorrow night. It's going to be ruckus. It's going to be crazy. People are going to go out of their minds. They're going to try to do whatever they can to motivate the Sixers team. The Sixers don't match the energy in the stands. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be a big problem in South Philly. But listening to Joel Embiid talk about the mindset, I feel like Joel Embiid's mindset going into the last 3 games, including the games they won, is kind of stay within himself. At where he's at health-wise right now, he can't try to do too much because you're going to get another instance of something more serious happening, more serious than him getting a ball knocked into his face from Dwayne Dedmon, for instance, like what happened last night in the second quarter. Something more serious that could possibly knock him out of the series for good. And then we won't see him until next year, obviously. That's how it works. But I feel like he is going into this in a controlled manner. I don't feel like he's going into this like, I'm going to play like I'm 100%, and that's the end of it. I don't think that's the case. I think he is playing because he knows his presence gets a lot of attention, like it's done in this series, even like it did yesterday. Nobody else stepped up, though. Game 4, James Harden stepped up. Game 3, Tyrese Maxey stepped up. Joel Embiid played well in those 2 games. He was not the star of the show as far as actual production. He didn't fill out the box score as he usually does, and we all know that. You need right now somebody else to step up. Whether that's going to be Maxey again, whether it's going to be James Harden again, whether it's going to be Tobias Harris, whoever it is, somebody has to do it in game 6 coming up tomorrow night. I think the mindset of Joel Embiid has been good, which is I can't overextend myself. Me being out there is still a lot because of the kind of attention that I draw to myself. If I'm drawing that attention, other people got to step up and hit their shots. Other guys got to step up and make plays. Nobody else did last night. So, yes, when he's talking about his mindset, I think his mindset is good going into these games. I'm just glad that he's actually in these games. That should be enough for somebody else to step up. Now, this is the other thing that drives me crazy. You talk about focus and all that stuff. Here's the focus from Joel Embiid talking about the rest of this game.
Yeah, that's just like tonight. We weren't focused enough. We didn't play hard. We didn't follow the game plan. It was just too easy for them offensively. We didn't move the ball. I don't think we shared the ball like we have been sharing the ball. And so we just, like I said, we just gotta be locked in and play like we played those last 2 games before this one.
Okay, let's rally the troops now. That would be a good time to do that, so we can at least force a game 7. Because you know what's really fun? Eastern Conference semifinal game 7s. What could go wrong? That was our Rothman Orthopedics locker room report, brought to you by Rothman Orthopedics, of course. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Hey, you want to feel better about everything? Let me tell you about my friends at Freestone Farm CBD. Who needs 20% off their CBD? Everybody needs 20% off their CBD. That's why you go to FreestoneFarmCBD.com right now. Use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy for 20% off your CBD. What's even more exciting, our friends at Freestone Farm CBD just unveiled an all-new strain menu with some supremely good CBD at prices you'll love. Check out FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You'll find it all there. The menu is something that you'll absolutely have to check out with strains like their insane Tropical Bayox. Clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and a Super CBD, which is half Hindu Kush, and 21%. The genetics these guys they're using right here in the bar, in the jar, are off the charts. There's nothing synthetic in these jars. It's all grown with premium hemp there. The premium hemp flower is grown in the garden state with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing, I'll say it again, nothing synthetic in that jar of CBD. After harvest, they carefully preserve all plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. Just one look or smell is enough to know It's CBD done right. And then it's the product that is just great for anyone looking to take a natural approach to everything that we put in our bodies. Oh, and one more time, 20% off when you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy for 20% off at checkout. Promo code Farzy, FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. Let's get into our chat check, ladies and gentlemen. See how you wonderful people are doing this morning. Kevin! Good morning, Kevin. How are you? Dan, what's going on, Dan? Dan Schwartz, absolute mess, and the Phillies are no better. Trash last night. I stayed up. You stayed up for the Phillies? And you had to be up by 3 a.m. this morning? I'm a freaking fool. A miserable fool. Dan Schwartz, you are no fool. And I think Dan and I workshopped something last night on Twitter that I think would help a lot of our emotions. Why is the poop-faced emoji only smiling? Why is he or she, I don't know. Why is the poo-faced emoji only a smiley emoji? Like, what is, like, you're poop. You should be not happy to be poop. You're frowning. You should be frowning. You should be sad. Dan asked me for a recap, and I gave him the poo emoji, and he was like, that makes it seem too like it's going too well. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. The poo emoji's smiling. These are the things I think about. And Dan, these are what we think about. We're brilliant people. Well, Dan actually brilliant. Me, not so much. Mally, what's going on, Mally? How you doing? Good morning. Smoke him if you got him, Mally. God bless you. Kevin, Sean Gillespie. Morning, all. All the good is gone. That's what it feels like. No conspiracy of back-to-back good games or effort. Oh, geez, consistency. No consistency with back-to-back good games or effort from the Sixers constantly. No consistently. Yes, they are consistently inconsistent, as the old phrase goes. Julian! What's going on, Julian? But Joel every year is hurt in the playoffs. His help is a joke. 35-point loss. There is no way in hell this team can win a Game 7 ever. It's kind of how it feels. April, what's up, April? Good morning. The game was a dumpster fire. I concur. Mullet, what's going on? Good morning. Sean, hello again. Dan, hello again. Joel isn't absolved of criticism. Love the dude. But he was lethargic, lazy even before he got whacked in the face. Dan, I do not disagree. People were reading in the body language. I hate reading in the body language because I think it assumes way too much. When it comes to guys on the field to play, like I remember people ripping Zach Ertz for his body language, and they could easily tie that to the contract. I just thought that was low-hanging fruit. So I didn't jump in on that. Last night, everyone's body language looked terrible. When I'm talking about body language, though, I will give a little bit of a leeway. I will give a little leeway. I will grade on a little bit of a curve. The guy with the broken face, fresh off concussion protocol. That's the guy that I won't take a big poo emoji and throw it over at him. Everybody else, it's raining poo emojis and frowny face ones at that I will invent later and make millions. Anyway, Joel isn't absolved of criticism. I agree. He's not absolved, but I don't think he was anything close to your biggest problem. Julian, process epic failure. It's unreal how many assists, how many assets and bad drafting this team did through 5 GMs. I mean, when you think about it, and I've made this point before, like it's a 30 for 30. It's a what if I told you? What if I told you that you were going to go through really 3.5 years, 4 years in total, because it was 3.5 before we really got to see Joel Embiid play at a high level. What if I told you were going to go through 3.5, 4 years of not contending? Like, not even a mediocre team to give you a playoff game or two. Maybe a playoff series or two, I should say. Not even a mediocre team like the Andre Iguodala Sixers that, got lucky to make it to a... Hey, look, they were lucky to make it to the second round. Derrick Rose got hurt. Joakim Noah, you guys know the history story. I'm not going to give you a lesson. I've done it enough with that team. But what if I told you were going to go through those 3.5, 4 years of horrible basketball, the revolving door of the last thing you want to do is win. The main thing you want to do is get to the cap floor and go through all of that. And then at the end of it, you don't even have an MVP yet. Two of your number one overall picks aren't even here anymore. You've gone through several GMs one of which had a burner gate. With that whole Twitter account BS with Eric Jr. and Jerry Colangelo and all that fun stuff. Brian Colangelo, excuse me. And you still wouldn't be able to make it to even a conference final. Cool. Sports are fun. Oh, and just to pour a little bit more salt in that open wound, Drew Holiday, the guy you traded away to start the process on that draft night, comes back full circle and wins a championship. And if memory serves me correctly, the Sixers in the year of Giannis were the only team to, I believe, get 2 players in the top 11 picks because they got Michael Carter-Williams at number 11, and then they ended up getting Nerlens Noel at 6 in that trade, I believe, with Drew Holiday. And then Giannis went at 13, maybe? 14, maybe? So the Sixers, I think, were the only team to get 2 players in the top 11, and neither one of them were Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're all having fun. Sports are fun. Dan Schwartz, that was you yelling from the rooftop? I love you so much, Tyrese Maxey. I thought it was your beautiful bulbous head glistening in the sun. Yes, thank you. Also, I smelled weed. Very nice. Thank you very much. Ray, what's going on, Ray? It's simple. Sixers just got frustrated. Miami outcoached the Sixers with their defensive plan. That's all it was. Sixers should have them prepared and beat. Yeah, let's hope so. Damon, what's up, Damon? Iverson had heart. The Sixers 0-1 team who faced the star-studded Lakers team had heart. This team's the film that Doc... Oh, that's the Doc. Oh, okay, I like what you're saying there, Damian. Damian saying, show this Sixers team highlights of that 2001 team. And that's what heart looks like. I agree with you on that. And you know what else? How about take some defensive schemes as well? Let's do that. And speaking of that, where the hell has Tyrese Maxey been? Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I mean, Thibault. Thibault's supposed to be the defensive stalwart. Like, I'm not saying, look, the conclusion I arrived at is no, don't do this. But just a thought I had last night while I'm seeing the Heat make defensive play after defensive play. Jimmy Butler's been killing you in this series. Where's Matisse Thybulle just to D up Jimmy Butler? Like, I don't care if they go to a box and 1, man. Like, got to get Thybulle involved in this series somehow. Like, where's that change? That's what I'd like to see a little bit more of. Now, their minutes would have to match up, which is difficult because Danny Green's your only shot here offensively, having somebody from a corner hit a 3 for you right now, especially coming back home, which is ultimately why I don't make this change. But the Thibault that's supposed to be this defensive stalwart has not been around since the playoffs began. Now, you could say he's taken out of a funk because he couldn't play. He lost his starter's job because Doc Rivers didn't want to mix up the starting lineups in the playoffs. Have a one starting 5 at home and then another starting 5 on the road, which I get, and I think that's the smart way to play. And I think Danny Green has played really well, especially at home. But when it comes to playing on the road, good God, man. They always say defense is the constant. Where's Thybulle been in this series? Where's one play Thybulle's making where he's jumping in there and he's breaking up a pass, or he's jumping in a passing lane, or he's making a steal, or he's he's creating offense through his defense? Like, where's that? It ain't happening, man. I need that mojo back. I mean, we can talk about all these other guys, but Thybulle had a great season defensively and completely taken off his game by not being able to play in Toronto. Completely taken off his game. April says, I have to say I was really surprised by how Joel Embiid came out. He looked like he was going through the motions. Yeah, that's why somebody else has to take over on this team. And hopefully they can do that starting tomorrow night. As long as Duck Rivers is the coach, I have no confidence. Phillies lose 5 out of 7 on this road trip. I don't think Joe's coming back. I agree, Ray. I don't think Joe Girardi is coming back. Like, this road trip might be the last straw. Not blowing a 7-1 lead in the 9th inning. No, not the last straw. But this is also true in a lot of sports. you go on a long road trip together for whatever reason, it makes the team come together and maybe things turn around. Not so much. Let's hope that the turnaround does start today. Alyssa, what's up, Alyssa? Nice to have you. Alyssa, I thought Embiid was the real MVP, you delusional Sixers fans. Embiid is the real MVP. Joker's really nice player. Really nice player. Great player. Let's give him his due. He's a great player. If Joel Embiid was on that team, he would fill out the stat sheet as well and lead them in every statistical category as well. Because everyone else on that team sucks. Joker got rewarded for being a great player on a horrific team. Congratulations to Joker on that. I see Kyle's feisty. Kyle, how is it? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, that's adorable, Kyle. Kyle, no Sixers fans are delusional jerks. No Sixers fans are delusional jokes. Excuse me. No Sixers fans are delusional jokes. Oh, that's supposed to be no comma? No comma. Sixer fans are delusional jokes. Okay. Worst fans in the league. Go boo your own guys. The second you don't get what they want. Yeah, the second we want effort. Like, that's the number one thing we'll boo about. Like, we won't even boo right away about struggles. We'll boo effort, which every fan base should. Every fan base should be more like Philadelphia when you think about it. You really should. Yeah, who's happy after a 35-point blowout, Kyle? Berkey. What's up, Berkey? Why does Paul Millsap just not play at all? I don't know. April. Kyle, you're late for school. That's funny. I'm assuming he's in Denver. He's a couple hours behind us. A Jokic shrine. That's adorable. Alyssa, I like that. I live on the... Kyle lives on the coast. Congratulations. Cody, good morning. Lou, what's up, Lou? Yes. Kyle, wait, hold on a second. Are you trolling and then saying you're not trolling? Now you're giving us some of our own medicine because you want to talk about Jokic. It's yesterday's news. The Sixers are still in the playoffs, so we got bigger concerns. I think most Sixers fans are still happier with Joel Embiid than they are Nikola Jokic. Jokic is a great player who's not playing. Joel Embiid's still playing with a broken face. Brian, what's going on? How are you? Brian, imagine tanking for 5 years just to peak at being a second-round exit every year. Yeah, that's fun. Good Lord. Things took a turn in the chat. April, yeah, Mark, we already pointed out Kyle sucks at math and geography. Grammar isn't a strong point either. Okay. This is fun. This is fun. But don't come into a chat that is clearly talking about an opposing fan base, and the fan base is just talking about, losing in the playoffs, which they're still in. Game 6, obviously, is coming up tomorrow night. But Kyle, don't come in here and act like you're not a troll when you're clearly trolling. Like, that's fraudulent. And the good thing about Philadelphia is we can spot frauds, like Joker not being an actual MVP. He's fraudulent. Great player, but not an MVP. Like, most valuable player, no, not so much. But you want to come into a Sixers chat conversation and you're not a troll. And we're the ones that are delusional. Kyle, you are adorable. Absolutely adorable. Appreciate everybody. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Hopefully, the Sixers give us a win tomorrow night. Either way, whatever happens Thursday night, here's what I tell you we're going to do Friday. We're going to talk about that win. We're going to talk about that loss. We're going to talk about that game. And we're going to do so with our friend Kevin Nagandi, who will make his triumphant return to the Farzy Show. That's right, Kevin Nagandi of Temple University fame, of ESPN fame, Kevin Nagandi will be right here on the Farzy Show Friday morning discussing it all with us. Win or lose, baby. Win or lose. Maybe you guys can help me with something here. Just hit me up on social media. We don't need to do this on the chat. I got 30 people coming over the house. And I was going to make a nice menu. I was going to make a nice dinner for everybody. I love cooking for like 30 people is like, that is my joy. Like I love, that is my natural habitat, man. I can just get in the kitchen, zone in, make. I was going to make cacio e pepe, right? The Italian pasta, fresh pasta. Make the fresh pasta. I was going to make the cacio e pepe sauce and all that stuff. Cacio e pepe. And I was going to do the whole thing. I was going to make some roasted garlic, roasted pork, porchetta, right? I was going to make a nice big dinner, right? We're going to have some sides and everything for everybody, right? I was going to do all that. And now my wife is trying to get me to cater the meal. Because we've been sick in the house, right? We've all been feeling like crap. And she's like, we're all low energy. Why don't we just cater it? And I am anti catering for the most part, especially when I love cooking huge meals. And when I say huge meals, I don't mean like for 10 people. I mean like 30 people. And I've done this a number of times in my life, and every time it's been better, like as far as my enjoyment goes, and I haven't heard any complaints from, oh, this food sucks. Never heard that once, or anything negative for that matter. I feel like I need to do it. So catering or cook? I vote cook. Help me out on social media, please, people. Help me out. As soon as I look over, the first person I see is April. April, where's my ravioli? Hey, Miss Guzzi. I am not making ravioli. Making ravioli for 30 people, that's like a week's worth of work. That's a lot of work right there, man. Especially if you don't have the ravioli machine. Have you seen this thing that like takes the 2 sheets of pasta and puts them together? It's like the roll-in, pasta attachment to a KitchenAid, but it actually puts the ravioli together for you. I don't do that. I do the big sheet and what do you call it? Another sheet on top. Well, the filling, and then I section it off, and then I cut and all that stuff. I saw, if you guys don't follow Pasta Grannies on Instagram, oh, you guys are missing out. This woman, this Italian lady, she was like, I don't know, 110 or something. She had her pasta board. No, it wasn't even a pasta board. It was just her table. And she's making this big sheet of pasta that honestly looked like it was as big as a hula hoop, okay? And she flattens it out and gets it paper thin and all that stuff. And then she puts on half of the circle, she puts the filling, right? Spaces it out, flips the other side over, takes a plate and starts going between the fillings, then takes her pasta knife and goes to the cutter and goes in between it. And she made like 50 ravioli in the time it takes me to make 10. It was insane. But I don't have that skill yet. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting to be a 100-year-old Italian woman who can do that. And I don't think I'll ever get there. 110, hopefully I'll get there and making pasta still. But I don't think I'll get to the female part of that. But anyway. Sean, here's the thing. I understand that it saves time, but if you get it catered, but I like the time. Like, I love that time. I am in my natural habitat when I'm cooking a big meal. I get emotional because I think of my past relatives that taught me how to make chicken cutlets right. That's another thing. I was going to make chicken cutlet sandwiches for people. It's going to be nice big meal. Mally, no other food and weed. There you go, Mally. Thank you. Dan saying cook a meal for the chat. I should. You know what? I should. And let's invite our new friend Kyle as well. Real time. What's going on, Real Time? Nice to see you as well. Thanks everybody in the chat once again. Hit me up on social media. Let me know what I should do with that situation with my lovely missus, the mother of my children. Let's get to the morning rush. Brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. I mentioned it already. Phillies now 13 and 17 on the season. after yesterday's loss. They take on the Mariners again today in the rubber game of the 3-game set. 3:40 start time today. Today, you got, oh my goodness gracious, Bailey Falter is supposed to make the start for the Phillies today, or I guess it'd be the opener. Logan Gilbert starts for the Mariners. Once again, 3:40 start time. By the way, did you happen to see that J.P. Crawford's hitting like 327 for the Mariners? That's fun. Gilbert, by the way, has made 6 starts so far this season, and he has done so while posting a 1.36 ERA. So he's having himself a nice little early goings of the season. Sixers, they'll be back in action tomorrow in South Philadelphia. That game will be on ESPN. Let's hope for, obviously, we can all say it, we can all acknowledge it, a much better outcome than what we have seen last night in Game 6. From Game 5, better outcome in Game 6. It's a 7 o'clock start time tomorrow night on ESPN. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. You guys are fantastic as per usual. In closing, if you're the Sixers today, I hope you're wallowing. I hope you have done nothing. I hope you haven't gotten over this loss yet. I hope by the time you take the court in Game 6, you're over the loss and you're concentrating on Game 6. But if you're the Sixers right now, even if you're Doc Rivers, I hope you haven't burned those tapes just yet. Because what I will not be able to get over until hopefully the Sixers win Game 6, hopefully after the Sixers win Game 7, I'll be able to get over it. But what I can't get over is the idea that the Sixers have Joel Embiid on this squad playing with a broken face, so quick off concussion protocol. Torn ligament in his thumb. MVP snubbing, as what the team thinks. And you can't rally around that guy, even after he gets hit in the broken face in the second quarter of this game. You still can't raise your effort after that. Think about what you did, Sixers. Think about your performance. Go to your room, sit in the corner, whatever. Wallow in it. Bask in that failure. And then come out and kick ass tomorrow night. And then hopefully we can all feel better about ourselves going into Game 7. Let's cross our fingers for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Coming to you live every day from the Steven Singer Studios. Jim Hyden produced the program. Did a phenomenal job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. I'm Marc Farzy. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.